Welcome to MacroCode. If you're new to this channel, consider subscribing. So today we are going to proceed with the employees management system, as you can see. So here we can actually create employees. For those who are new to this channel, you can see we have a form where you can create an employee, attach employee photo, and you submit. Then we have holidays where you can create holidays and actually save. As you can see the form here, you can capture the title, the start date, end date, and the description. Then you also have the leave adjustments. So these are adjustments that can be done by the HR or it can be done by the employee when they are applying for leave. You can see here the leave period is 2024, the employee name, the number, the date of the leave adjustment, and what the adjustment, whether it was a negative adjustment or a positive adjustment. So here you will see that it is actually a negative adjustment because the employee applied for leave. So we are tracking all these adjustments. Then you also have the leave balances. You can see the employee number, the full name, the allocated leave balance, and the leave balance. Then we have under leave applications, you have the leave types. So here you can set up all the leave types that you will want to be part of the leave applications. Then whenever someone creates a new leave application, you'll see that you'll be able to tie to an employee, but this one will be actually doing whenever just an employee logs in, then they should not be able to pre-select, but these will be selected automatically. So then you have the start date, end date, the full the leave duration, and the leave type. Then when you save that, the leave application can be approved. So here you'll see all approved leave applications and the statuses. Then you'll also see the rejected ones and the rejected leave applications. You see here we have the rejected. Then another thing is under system security, where we have the system users, the system roles, the system audit logs, where we are tracking all the activities within the system. As you can see, we have either it was an update, it was a create, it was a delete. So we have all those audit types. And whenever you want to see the details, you can actually see the details. For example, here, these are audit logs, and you'll see these old values. This was an update. So we are tracking the old values and the new values, and even the columns that were affected and the primary key for that particular record. Then you have the designation, departments, banks, cities, and all this. So what I want us to do today, on our previous video, we did something called leave adjustments. So under leave adjustments, when we come to leave balances, we were able to add this action where an HR can be able to adjust a leave for a particular kind of an employee, and they need to choose the leave period. So this leave period, I want us not to be hard coding these leave periods. I want us to be selecting the leave periods of, that is whenever you are doing any kind of an adjustment. So to do that, I want us to go to the application. So I'm going to stop our application. Then let's go to the leave adjustment model. So if we just go to the leave adjustment model, so I'm going to minimize this. Then under leave adjustment model, we'll see we have the leave adjustment. So let me just close this. So you'll see here we have the leave adjustment entry, and then we have the leave period. So here, the leave period, I want us to create another model that will be storing our leave periods. So the HR should be able to define the leave periods, and you should not be coding, that is typing them. So here I'll call my class here leave period. So then enter. Then I'll just do, I'm going to borrow the activity of the user who is creating the leave periods so that you're able to track who created the leave period, at what time, and modified at what point. So here we'll just do public, then, I'm going to do public. So this is public, then int ID. So this is a primary key. Then we'll also have, the next thing is to have the name of the leave period. So I'm going to have your name. So this should be name, and this should be string, this data type. Then I'll also copy these, and you can do a description. So I'm going to do here description in case they need to describe it. Then the next thing is I want us to also have the start date and end date for that particular kind of leave, that is leave period. So they need to specify the start date. So I'm going to have here the start date, so that whenever the HR can do a positive adjustment or a negative adjustment for a particular period of for a particular leave period. So I'll also do here end date. Then the next thing is I'm going to do something. Some of these leave periods can be closed, or so I'm going to do here whether the leave period has been closed, and you can also do whether it has been locked. You can also do here locked. So you can say locked, and it's actually Boolean. So once we have these, I want us to do some things. On our leave adjustment entry model, you'll see that our leave adjustment entry leave type here, leave period type here, is actually a string. So I'm going to change this to an int, and I'm going to call it leave adjustment ID, period ID. Then I'm going to have public. I'm going to have this as a foreign key. Then I'm going to link it to that. Then I'll call it leave period. Then we do that. So if we do that, then on where we have our leave period and our views, that is the leave adjustment, I'm going to change here on the leave adjustment. You'll see that we have here leave period. So this will be leave period ID. Let me just, here also is leave period ID. And this should be a select, option. So you'll be able to change that. Also on our leave application, when we come to our leave application controller, you'll see we have this now giving us an error. We should be able to have it as a leave period ID, and let's just have it as 0, but we are going to change that. So I'm trying to remove the errors so that you are able to run migrations. Let's also see if we have anything here. None. So after we have done with our leave period here, so we need to add this to our application DB context so that it can be created as a table within our database. So I'm going to add this here, sorry. So I'm going to do here public DB set. Then I'll also add that. Then here I'll just do, sorry. So I'll do here get set. So I'll just do get set. So after doing that, our table name should be leave periods. So I'm going to add migrations. So I'll just do NuGet package manager console. Then I'm going to add migrations. So let's just do here add migration, then say leave periods. So if we add that, our migration file should be generated, and we should be able to now update our database if everything goes well. So for those who are new to this channel and you've seen our videos, you can consider subscribing if you like our content, and also comment down below in case you need anything that you can include in this application. So I'm going to update this database. So I'm running that. So we notice most of you guys are watching our videos and you've not subscribed. So if you're one of them, please consider subscribing. So as you can see, our database is being updated now with the new table. So I'm going there. Then if I just refresh here on our table, we should be able to see under tables, we have one of the leave periods as a table. So you see, we have these leave periods here. So I'm going to do that. Then as you can see, we have the leave periods. So what happens is after we have done with that, I'm going to scaffold. So let's scaffold this because we need to add leave periods before you actually do any leave adjustments. So I'm going to do here add, then scaffold. Then I'm going to say MVC controller with views, entity framework core. Then I'm going to select our leave periods. Then my controller will be leave periods. Then add the migrations. That is the scaffolding will start. So after that, we should now be able to have our controller and a folder with all our views. the create index and the details views, so that you're able to actually create the leave periods. So let's just wait and see. So in the meantime, for those who are new to this channel, consider subscribing. And if you feel you want to access the source code, you can claim the source code in the link below, and we should be actually ready to send you the link. So as you can see here, we have our controller has been generated. And if we close this and we go here, we should be able to see the leave periods as one of the folders. So on the leave periods, I want to add the styles that we have on almost all of our tables. So I'm going to copy this so that we ensure we have a standard styling. So I'm adding this to a data table. So I'll just copy that, then come to index, then I'll replace that here. So if I do that, we should only have this here. Then we should say leave periods list. Then here we should say add leave period, add new leave period. So I'll just say add new leave period. Then after that, I'm going to close I'm going here and we need to close my tags. So I'll just close that. Also close another one. Let's check if there's another one. None. Then I'll format my application. Then the edit views. So I'm going also to copy this. We just have the buttons. See this? Because it's actually the same. So we'll be reusing some of the things just to save on time. And also the headers. So I'm going to copy the headers as well. You see these headers. And I'll add them on our leave periods. So if I add them here, then that should be okay. Then under create, we should be able to have these in 2 columns. So I'll just do div here. I'll do div row. So I'll just do here row. Then I'm going to remove this. Then I'll do here div. So I'll do here div call md. Then I do 6. Then I'm going to close this here. So I'll close it there, close that tag. Then I'm going to copy this. Then I'll just duplicate across my fields. So as I close the tags, as I close the tag, as I close that tag, put there as I close this other one. So as I close that, and also as I close that, let's just do that. So this is a checkbox, and I can do that. I can do that as well. Let me just put this here, and I can do this. So if we do that, the create created on all these should be added by the application, and the user should not be able to update it. Then after that, I can now close my form. Just do that. Then I'll format my application. So we should now be able to have these in a row. And after doing this, I can now come to our shared layout. We need to update this to our navigation. So I'm going to have it under leave, that is leave management, HR and payroll, I mean. Then I can have this here as we'll call it HR leave periods, leave periods. So if I do that, then that means our controller here should be leave periods. So I'll just do leave periods. So, and I save. So if we just launch our app now, but before we actually launch our app, we should go to our create, that is on our actions, our controller, then under leave periods, whenever we are saving here, I want us to modify something. So I'm going to remove these. I'm going to remove these and the binding. So I'll just do that. Then every time we create, so let me borrow something. Remember, we are tracking our audit log, so we need to ensure we know the person who is creating our record. So I'm going to copy this user here, what we had done. So that line of code, then come to leave periods. I'm going to have it here. So every time we save our user, we should pass our save changes, we should pass with the user who is doing the changes. Then our leave period, we should ensure that we are passing the created by, who is the user who is logged in. So we'll pass the user ID. Then we also pass the leave period. We should also pass the date at which this was created. So I'll just do here created on, and I'll also do here date time. So we should pass the date time now. So that is when it was created, and we should be good to go. So if we do that, and I should be able to save now our leave type, that is the leave periods. So let's just launch our application and see what will happen. So that is how we create leave periods, and we should ensure this is being controlled by the HR so that we are not just typing leave periods within our application. So let's just log in to our application, then be able to see how these will go. So I'm going to sign in. Then when we navigate to HR and payroll, we should be able to see now our new leave periods. So if I click leave periods, it will take us to the index page, and you see it has a lot of fields. So I want us to remove all these things here. So let's just remove all those. We just remain with the relevant information under index. So I want us to remove, we can do away with the closed, logged, and the created on. So for me, I'm doing away with that, but if you feel they are necessary for you, you can leave them. Then that is okay. Then I'm applying the changes, but you should also remove it at the headers here as well, or you'll have our form distorted. So I'm going to do that, then apply the changes. So I'll also apply the changes. Let's go back to our application, and we should now have some few fields. So you can see, so if I click add new period, you're able to see now here the fields are quite organized. So I can say here 2024, then I can say 2024 leave period. Then here I'll choose the date. I say this is the start date and this is the end date. And I'll want to say maybe it is not logged and it is not closed. So if I click create, we should be able to create our leave period. You see, it has been created. You can also create another one, assuming you want 2023. And here it is leave period 20. So we'll say leave period 2023. Then I'll choose the date. Just have my date here and also the dates here. So I can also do, maybe I want this to be closed, and I click. So you'll be able to see all these. If you come to our table now, you'll see all those entries that we've just done, and you can see one is closed. It has now 1. The locked one is 00. Then you see it is we have the user ID and the created on. The same thing is when you go to our system security under system audit logs, you should be able to see on our last entries that we have a table called leave period, and it has a create entry, and you'll see the values that has been supplied as this one, and the ID is that one. You've created another record, and you see it is part of the changes. So if you go to our leave periods, so we now have our leave periods. So what should happen? So this edit action here, we should actually have a correct icon. We should call that button as edit. So it's not an I, we can do edit. So if we do that, it will give us a pencil. So let's just update the changes and see. So that will give us a pencil to indicate that that is an edit button. So you see, that is okay. So what we need to do is when you come to leave adjustments, we were doing, you see this has been cleared. So if we come to leave adjustments under leave balances, and we just click add adjustment, you see our leave period, it is actually an ID and it is expecting a drop down. So we need to change that. So how do we do that? Let's go back to our leave adjustments based on the last video that we did. So here I'll be going to leave adjustment entries under create. No, it will be actually under leave balances, then adjust leave balance. So I'm going to copy this select under employee here, and I'm going to paste it here. Then I'll just change this to be leave ID, period ID. Then I'm going to have this as a leave period ID. So then if we go to our leave adjustment, so this leave period ID, that is leave adjustment entry. Let's just go there. We should actually annotate this with something. We can do display, then we say name, display name, then we can provide the name. So we can say leave period, and you can also do the same. You can also do the same for employee. Instead of saying employee ID, you can say employee name, and you can remove this. You can also do another one for number of days. You can do here, we say number of days, then I'll just remove that, and I'll also do here leave adjustment date. So you can say here leave adjustment date. So you see you're able to put in the description that you'll want to appear in your fields. I'm also updating here, we can say leave start date. Let's just leave that. We can have the leave adjustment description. So I'll say adjustment description. Yeah, description. Then I'll also do for the adjustment type, I'll also do adjustment type here. So I'll just do here as an adjustment type. So after that, we need to do something. So let's just go to our leave adjustment entry controller, this one, where we are doing create. You see we were pulling the leave employees and the adjustment type. So here also we need to pull. So the employees, we can take full name when you are creating, but we were doing something. So adjustment type, we can also do description. But you know, we are not creating adjustments. So that's why we are not seeing that. So the action that you are going to follow is actually the add adjustment. So let me just navigate to where we had that action. It is actually within leave balances, I think. So let's just go to the leave balances controller. Yes. Yeah. So this is where we are. So under leave, adjust leave balance, we should actually take now the controller for leave. We should actually pull here the leave periods that we've just that we are just looking for. So if you go back to our create action, you'll see that you have actually renamed these. So this is this should be leave period ID. So I'm going to just have that, but remember we are not clear. So I'll just now go to our leave balances. Then I'll just rename this to leave period. Then I'll come here and say this is leave periods here. And we want the ID, but we want to see the name. So if we do that, we should also copy this view data, and it should be part of our action, of our post action here. So I'm going to do that. But now here we can actually pre-select and return it with data. So I'll just do comma, then I'll do leave adjustment entry, then I can do here dot leave period. But now it will be leave period ID. So if we do that, then our leave period ID will be part of our view bag on our adjust leave balance. So our view bag should be called leave bag.leave period ID. So this will be now a drop down. So if we relaunch our app, we should now be able to select the leave periods whenever we are trying to create an adjustment within the system. So let's just log in and see how this works. So I'm going to have here admin. So I'm going to pass also my password, then log into the application. Then whenever I go to the HR and payroll under leave periods, I should be able to create these leave periods. But whenever we go to the leave adjustments under leave balances, and then we adjust one of the leave balance, I should be able to select the leave periods, you see? So here I'll be able to select the leave periods. But now there is one thing that we need to know. At one point, we should be able to have only one leave period at a time. You see, there is one that I actually created as closed. So we should not be able to pull any closed leave application for the HR to choose. So we'll go back to our leave view bag, and here we don't want any closed leave application. So we'll just, that is leave period. So I'll just say .where x.x. So let me just do that. x.x. closed. We just want where closed is not equal to, is equals to false. So anything that has not been closed, we should be able to pull it. So the same thing here, I'm going to add it here, and we should be good to go. So let's now launch our application and see. We should only be having one leave period at a time. So let me launch the app. So if you are new to this channel and you are watching this series, I'm sure you are learning a lot. And if you do so, you can consider buying us coffee, and we will really appreciate. So help support us, like our video, subscribe, and we will appreciate your support. So if I just log in, I should be able to go now to the leave, to the HR and payroll under leave balances, and I see all my leave balances. Then I am able to go to leave balances and adjust. Then I should select only one. You see, you only have one leave period. So I can also select the employee, indicate the number of days. So I'll say 24. Give the leave start date and end date. Here I'll just do that. Then I can say leave adjustment for James. Then I can say positive. So if I click adjust, it will actually adjust our leave application. You see, it has incremented, and we should be able to have the entry within our leave adjustment entries. So if I go to our leave adjustment entries, I should be able to see now the employee, the adjustment type, and everything. But now when we go to our leave period ID, you should see that it is taking now the IDs of the leave period. So that is it on how we have actually changed our leave adjustment to not only be typing in the leave period, but to give the leeway for the HR to define the leave periods and manipulate them as they wish. So I'm going to leave it there for today. So if you're watching this channel and you have not subscribed, consider subscribing, and see you in our next video. Bye.